Hello and welcome to Open Format. I know you're eagerly waiting for this episode. Well, a couple of weeks back I had teased कि इस महीने के आखिर में I'll bring you an exciting episode on Delhi's Malcha Mahal, often dubbed as or often termed as Bhutiya Mahal in more common parlance. कोई भूतिया महल नहीं है but still, और out of curiosity जो लोग वहाँ गए कभी, they used to term it as Bhutiya Mahal. Well, let me start here with a caveat. This story has, or for that matter, this place has its own history. There are versions to it. What version is something that we have ourselves found out. There is something which is written in the papers and an investigative report, especially जो New York Times से publish हुई थी, जहाँ पे जो पूरी की पूरी एक रॉयल लीनिएज की थ्योरी है इस पूरी फैमिली की जो यहाँ रहती थी, उसको डीबंक किया गया है. I'll not go into the deeper details of Ellen Berry's piece on the New York Times on this family. For more, you can read Ellen Berry's article on the New York Times. It's freely available on the net. To start with, मेरा इंटरेस्ट इस जगह में कहाँ से आया? I was in my masters when I came across a film by one of my film school senior, निशाचर. उस फिल्म में उनके जो 3 किरदार थे वो इंसोमनियाक थे, जिसमें एक किरदार था जो एक दिल्ली के रिज में, नॉर्दर्न दिल्ली रिज में एक कोई महल है, भूतिया महल है, वहाँ पे रहता है. एंड उनके बाहर एक आयरन गेट है जहाँ पे एक आयरन प्लैक लगी हुई है दैट ट्रेसपासर्स शैल बी गन डाउन. क्लियरली उनका एक अलग उन्होंने नया सिस्टम का ईजाद कर लिया था वहाँ पर. एंड दिस इज़ समथिंग दैट रियली इंटरेस्टेड मी. मुझको लगा कि ये क्या चीज़ है, उसको जाके देखा जाए या फिर उसके बारे में और खोज की जाए. जो फिल्म मेकर्स थे उनको ज़्यादा इस बारे में ज्ञान नहीं था, क्योंकि बस वो वहाँ गए थे देखने के लिए कि शायद कुछ उनको मिलता है वहाँ ही नहीं, उनको ज़्यादा कुछ हाथ नहीं लगा. Well, I started following it in details when I started practicing my journalism in Delhi. Being a Delhiite, I'm really interested in Delhi's history. तो यहाँ के जो मॉन्यूमेंट है, यहाँ के बाज़ार हैं, यहाँ के रहस्य हैं, उसके बारे में मुझे जानना बहुत पसंद है, बहुत उत्सुकता है इस बारे में. नाउ जब मैं पहली दफ़ा यहाँ पे गया था मालचा महल जिसको बोलते हैं, तो वहाँ पे सिर्फ एक प्लैक देखा और वहाँ से वापस आ गया. आई सेड कि यार इट्स फ्रॉट विद रिस्क, कोई फ़ायदा नहीं है, लेट्स गो बैक. उसके बाद considering this story was very popular, so then some of my journalist friend also went over there along with me. सुनने में यह आता था उस टाइम पे कि वहाँ पे एक रानी है और उनके 2 बच्चे हैं, और उसमें जो है उनको आप एक पर्टिकुलर रॉयल कॉल साइन से बुलाएंगे, लाइक योर हाइनेस कैन आई प्लीज़ हैव योर ऑडियंस. मैंने वही किया, मैं रानी के महल गया और मैं चिल्लाया, योर हाइनेस कैन आई प्लीज़ हैव योर ऑडियंस. 2-3 बार कहा. उसके बाद जो है देयर वाज एन एल्डरली पर्सन हु केम टू मी. थैंकफुली दे वर माय कॉलीग्स ओवर देयर. सो उनसे हमने जब बात करना शुरू की, आई आस्क्ड हिम, सर वी हैव हर्ड सो मच अबाउट यू, देयर इज दिस इंट्रीग अराउंड यू, इज इट पॉसिबल इफ यू कैन गिव अस अ जर्नलिस्टिक इंटरव्यू, कुड यू प्लीज टेल अस अबाउट लिटिल मोर डिटेल्स अबाउट यू, कि आप कौन हैं, आपका स्ट्रगल क्या रहा है, आप कैसे यहाँ पे रहते हैं, आपके घर में कौन कौन है. दिस इज़ वॉट ही टोल्ड अस.
Here as individuals who are generally interested in history. So that is what got our attention.
Because one thing I tell you, to check reality is a very difficult process.
Certainly, sir. Yeah.
See, just 2 days back, someone very, I don't want to abuse. Now we don't allow it.
Okay, fair enough, sir. In a sense that if you're okay with it.
What the hell I know that who you are about. One thing I tell you. Have you read the Times of India today? How criminal people are very roaming and driving with the pistols and all everything.
Yes.
That's what. Now please sound. You have kept a card over. I'm afraid of saying that you are already have a huge space over here. For what reason? We have got our own everything to protect us. Everything is over here. Don't mix up that thing about afraidness. Nothing to do with that thing.
Right, sir. Right. Thanks, sir. Thanks.
You go and speak to Sam Miller.
Absolutely. Sir, is it possible to see you?
No, I've already told you. See, one thing I tell you, we have had enough. One thing I told you, we don't trust. First of all, you cannot understand this city and the period of life which we are passing through. It is not an easy thing. It's not an easy thing. people are sending from crime set, people are sending from all of them. We refuse it. One or few, there are very few royal family people. Yeah, of course we have something to speak to them. Otherwise we have nothing to do. This is not a easy life that we are passing through. Now you just go, but your car is over there, where you are going to this side.
So, but our car is that side.
All right, go ahead.
Well, there you see, you heard it. एक melancholic सा, एक sad और साथ में एक बहुत ही resigned तरीके की जो एक thinking है, जो सोच है कि यार हमारा कुछ नहीं हो सकता है, हमें हमारे अपने पर हमें खुद पे छोड़ दो. तो उस तरीके की जो है बातें उनसे सुनने को मिली. Now I started researching more on that. Now what I learned was it's really fascinating how they came here. I mean, I know their story has been debunked, they've been termed as imposters. Nonetheless, they have a beautiful story. For a storyteller, it's a delightful passage to share. Around 1970s, this lady who called herself Rani Wilayat Mahal or Begum Wilayat Mahal, along with the 3 children, Ali Raza, Prince Ali Raza, what he was referred as, Princess Sakina, and there was another child along with their royal guards and some hounds, dogs. They landed in Delhi's railway station, New Delhi railway station का state entry road जो terminus है, which is used by the VVIPs even today. उस time पे 1970s, it was an official lounge for the President of India and the Prime Minister of India, and select cabinet ministers used to board the train. Official tour के लिए जो train जाया करती थी, उसके लिए rather than from the normal platforms, ये एक VVIP platform उस ज़माने में था, state entry road का. तो वहाँ के एक cloak room में this lady along with the children and guards and other paraphernalia, उनका कुछ सामान वगैरह भी था, and there were some trunks, there were some gems and jewelries, I mean the carpets and heap of photographs. So she landed over there और उसके बाद उन्होंने वहाँ रहना शुरू कर दिया. Her appeal was कि वो जो हैं जो किंगडम ऑफ अवध है, जो कि 1856 में डिसबैंड हो गई थी, और उनको एक रॉयल या कह लीजिए उनको एक सरकारी आवास चाहिए था विच कैन मैच विद हर प्रॉपर्टीज, हर क्लेमेंट प्रॉपर्टीज इन अवध. अवध जो किंगडम नहीं है, in present parlance you can say जो लखनऊ में what we have the old kingdom buildings, जो अब सरकारी बिल्डिंग्स बन गई हैं, तो उनको कुछ उस तरीके की चीज़ें चाहिए थी. I mean, for 10 years she kept sitting over there in protest, which is a remarkable thing, I would say. And in 1984, we hear that then Prime Minister, late Miss Indira Gandhi, she was kind of moved by her plight and she paid her a visit. And then, I mean, she decided कि इनको दिल्ली में एक रेजिडेंसी दी जाए, और डिसाइड ये हुआ कि जो दिल्ली रिज में, आई एम श्योर 1980s के टाइम पे थिंग्स वर लिटिल डिफरेंट. रिज हालांकि वहाँ पे जो है कीकर के पेड़ हैं और काफ़ी जो है कुछ छोटे मोटे जानवर भी हैं वहाँ पे, जस्ट लाइक यू हैव जैकल्स एंड यू हैव समटाइम्स देयर आर फॉक्सेस और which is pretty common in the ridge area. तो वहाँ पे तुगलक ईरा हंटिंग लॉज, मालचा महल जिसको कहा जाता है, वो उनको दे दिया गया. उनको एक तरह से उनका एक प्राइवेट रेसिडेंसी के तौर पे सरकार ने उनको आवंटित कर दिया. वेल, दे मूव्ड इन ओवर देयर. उसके बाद जो है, आई मीन, दे कंटिन्यू टू राइट पिटिशंस, दे कंटिन्यू टू प्रोटेस्ट कि उनको और बेहतर जगह चाहिए, क्योंकि उस ज़माने में वहाँ पे बिजली पानी नहीं थी. ऑफ कोर्स, लाइक देन द म्यूनिसिपल अथॉरिटीज स्टार्टेड प्रोवाइडिंग देम विद वाटर, एंड द प्रिंसेस एंड द फैमिली लिव्ड ऑफ हर जेम्स एंड ज्वेलरी जो अपने साथ वहाँ लाए थे. ये स्टोरीज़ हैं, कुछ इसमें वेरीफाइबल फैक्ट्स भी हैं, क्योंकि जो है काफ़ी कॉरेस्पॉन्डेंस उनकी रही हैं ऑफिसर्स के साथ, और स्पेशली जो यूपी के ऑफिसर्स रहे हैं जो लखनऊ में पोस्टेड थे एक ज़माने में उनके साथ. फास्ट फॉरवर्ड टू 2012, जब मैंने उनसे मिला, पहली बार बात की, he came across as extremely paranoid character. He said कि there is this this is how we're living, and what you do, are you journalist, what paper you write in? I said कि sir, I work in a television channel. And I mean, to my surprise, he said, oh, television channel, those boxes. I mean, he said, television, those boxes. सो आई मीन वो काफ़ी कटे हुए थे जो उस समय की लाइफ है, उस समय की दुनिया है. स्टिल ही kept himself abreast with the news development. I mean, I was surprised, and all of us, in fact, like my journalistic colleagues who were there with me, journalist colleagues who were there with me. I mean, his up-to-date knowledge about this crime in the city and the government affairs. So he used to read papers because he was slightly mobile as well. बाहर जाया करते थे कुछ सामान वगैरह लेने के लिए. मालचा महल से बाहर जो रिज है उसके ऑपोजिट मालचा मार्केट है, पॉपुलर मार्केट है चाणक्यपुरी में. सो वहाँ जाया करते थे. देन एक दिन 2017 में वी गॉट टू नो दैट द प्रिंस इज डेड. I was like, okay, this is really sad. I mean, in the person I always wanted to interview, the person I always wanted to profile is as one of my journalistic stories is no more. So, I mean, what we can do? I'm sure, like, जिसने भी उनके बारे में सुना है, जिसने भी मालचा महल के बारे में सुना है, they're driven by intrigue. ऐसा हो ही नहीं सकता है कि you have heard about it and you not thought about it. एक बार सुनने के बाद ज़रूर ख्याल आता है कि यार वो लोग रहते कैसे होंगे, वो लोग क्या करते होंगे, कैसे खाते होंगे, क्या क्या होगा अंदर. वी नो फॉर द फैक्ट कि वो एक जंगल के बीच में लॉज में रहते हैं, शायद वहाँ पे बिजली भी नहीं है, और एक बड़ा सा बोर्ड लगा रखा है उन्होंने जहाँ पे लिख रखा है कि आप इफ़ यू ट्रेसपास दिस प्रॉपर्टी यू विल बी प्रोसिक्यूटेड और यू विल बी शॉट डेड और यू बी शॉट एट प्रिसाइसली. सो आई मीन तो एक बड़ा इंट्रीगिंग फैक्टर रहता है, एक डर भी रहता है. सो देन आफ्टर दैट वंस हिज न्यूज़ ऑफ डेथ बिकेम पब्लिक, so I went over there with my camera, and yeah, I saw the place was in a really bad shape. I wonder how he lived. Yet there were these signs of royal regalia. There was this as we entered the main gate of that lodge, which was a couple of steps up from the ground level. The carpets were laid out. There were photographs, there were portraits, there were paintings that was hanging on the pillars of that palace, of that structure, the hunting lodge. There were also stone stairs, जहाँ पे काफ़ी जो है घास उगाई थी. So clearly telling us कि वहाँ पे सालों से शायद सफाई नहीं हुई थी. कुछ पेपर्स थे जिसमें कॉरेस्पॉन्डेंस देखने को मिली. They had written to their relatives, they have written to certain authorities, they've written to certain dignitaries as well, taking up the case for rehab plus also compensation, and claiming themselves as descendant of the kingdom of Awadh, or having direct lineage with the first family of the kingdom of Awadh, which, as I said, was disbanded in mid 19th century. 150 साल 170 साल पहले जो परिवार ख़त्म हो चुका है, जो एक तरीके से जो रियासत ख़त्म हो चुकी है उससे वो अपना ताल्लुक़ जोड़ते थे. देयर वाज अ डाइनिंग टेबल जिस पे उनके चाइना वेयर रखा हुआ था, जिसमें उनके ग्लासेस रखे हुए थे. देयर वाज अ कॉट एज वेल, देयर वाज अ बेड इन विच द बेडशीट was laid out that looked royal. कई चीज़ें थी ऐसी. There were some these pictures. It's extremely nostalgic, I would say, when I'm recalling what I saw over there. There were pictures of him, of his sister, which was also dead by then, who claimed herself or her named claiming to be Princess Sakina, and her mother Wilayat Mahal, Rani Wilayat Mahal, Begum Wilayat Mahal. So there were these pictures over there. They were scattered. There was some literature. There was, and there was handwritten notes. So clearly, it was a really, I would say, a visit worth remembering. This is what I wanted to share, like how I came across the story and what I did. I really miss interviewing him, but as a Delhiite, as somebody who's really interested in the story, I thought it's prudent that I share that along with the visuals that I captured over there. आज के टाइम पे वहाँ पे कुछ भी नहीं है. It's been taken over by civic authorities. I presume that it will be rehabilitated in something which is more substantial. Whereas going back to or just referring a piece to the article in New York Times, the family was not royal, and the father or husband of claimant Princess Wilayat Mahal was registrar in Lucknow University, Inayatullah Butt, and Rani herself had moved to Pakistan post partition, and and she was slightly unwell. That's what the investigative report says, which is verified with a lot of their relatives and even one of the relatives who lived in England. So given her health and paranoia, she was admitted to a mental hospital. She was in the asylum. Somehow she managed to flee, and somehow miraculously she managed to land in Delhi along with 3 children, one who died at the station itself, whereas these two, Prince Ali Raza / Prince Cyrus, claimant Prince Ali Raza, Prince Cyrus, जिसके बारे में पता लगा कि उनका असली नाम जो है मिकी बट था, एंड हिज सिस्टर क्लेमेंट प्रिंसेस सकीना, जिनका असली नाम पता चलता है फरहद था. सो बस यही है उस परिवार की कहानी who claimed themselves to be descendant from the royal lineage, but ultimately turned out, as per one version, they were imposters, or for that matter we can clearly say कि उनका कोई royal lineage नहीं था. It's a matter of debate. It's one particular family which has often attracted interest, not just among journalistic circle, but also among commoners. Well, that's it in this episode. So clearly sometimes you come across a story that stays with you forever, and given chance, you want to explore more and more about it. Well, you rue a chance of missing out something that possibly you could have, but ultimately it's a collection of memories that you keep close to your heart. Thank you for watching this episode. Please keep watching my podcast for more interesting stuff. I'm trying to diversify my content. It's not just about filmmaking or history, it's also about certain snippets, a free-flowing conversation of thoughts. So please keep giving me feedback and also keep giving me questions. I'll be happy to answer all your questions. Thank you for watching Open Format. Please subscribe, follow and like the page. Thank you. See you soon.